Hey Vinyl community, it's David Michael. This is the final part 3. That's it. I promise you. Thanks for hanging in with me. It's been a couple of long back-to-back videos. I apologize for that. I didn't really know how to make it any shorter and take away from kind of what the experience was. So although you might disagree, that's kind of how I felt about it. So thank you for hanging in there. Even if you made it halfway through a video, I appreciate even the effort for that. And if you, I heard from enough people who saw all of them all the way through who quite enjoyed them. So thank you and cheers everyone. Today we're gonna, like I said, this is the last part. We're gonna dispense with all the video. We're gonna get right to it today for Copenhagen. First of all, there's no video footage of Copenhagen. And I don't know why. I had filmed video footage and I thought I had uploaded it to YouTube when I had a Wi-Fi connection in London, and maybe it didn't upload and then I prematurely deleted all the videos off my phone. But for those of you who like the shorter videos, then you might like this one because we're going to just get right to it. Copenhagen. If you saw my last video and maybe my first video, I had referred to Copenhagen as possibly the best record shopping city I've ever been to, and I've been to a lot. I've been pretty much all over Europe, every kind of major city. I've been to New York, all over Canada, obviously. To me, Copenhagen, for the variety, for the selection, for the price, everything, it was probably I don't know if I could think of a city that might be better than Copenhagen. So take that for what it's worth. And really quickly, someone had commented, or I can't remember if they sent me a message or commented on my last video about that they had found some good stuff in Berlin, and I was kind of trashing Berlin this time around. And like I said in that video, it's all relative to you. It's all relative to me. It's all relative to what you're looking for. So someone could go there who might see this video and get all your dream pickups. For me, it was for what I have and what I was looking for, it just didn't turn up everything. So like I said, for those people who might go to Berlin, who might live there, who might be visiting there and find great finds, like I said, it's all relative to what you want, what you're looking for, what you already have in your collection. So having said that, Copenhagen. There's 3 stores I went to primarily. I didn't have a chance to go to any flea markets, anything like that. I didn't have a tour guide, aka a friend living in that city to show me around like a lot of the other cities. So I was kind of left on my own, of my own free will and of my own devices to kind of work my way through Copenhagen and find where the record stores were. The 3 major record stores I did go to was Beat Bop. Beat Bop, for those of you who might not know, it's owned and operated by the original guitar player from the band Merciful Fate, Michael Denner. So, and we'll get to that in a second. The second store was one called Sound Station. That was the last stop in Europe, which was fantastic, and we'll get to that. And unless I'm forgetting a store, there was a store I had found when I was making my way to Sound Station, one that I didn't kind of chart out. It was called Gold Mine. And we'll get to that in a second. Gold Mine is kind of an anomaly unto itself. So we'll get to that in a second. First of all, Beat Bop. For no particular reason, that was the first store on my list. It's in kind of an easily accessible area to where we were staying. And it's in kind of a high traffic area, just off kind of a main square down this little alley, I guess, or something. And it was, although Sound Station, I think I had more things, possibly, I can't remember. Just what Michael Denner, like I said, the original guitar player for Merciful Fate, what he carries in his store is pretty excellent stuff. And the staff there, which was just Michael, I believe, and another gentleman, were just some of the nicest people. When I told him I was from Canada, we were kind of swapping vinyl stories. And like I said, just kind of one of the most unassuming gentlemen you'll find. And if I went back to Copenhagen, that would be the first place I would go, just because they were so cool and so nice. And there's one find there. There's one find there that I'm going to save to the end. Although I'm going to kind of work my way backwards. Yeah, you'll see what I'm going to do here. You'll see. Anyways, let's get to this. So you know what? I'm going to start with that album. I was going to save it to the end, but that's kind of bullshit if you don't want to stick through the whole video. Beat Bop, I went in, and if you had seen my video a few videos ago of my Most Wanted, he had one of my Most Wanted in there. By the time I had started picking stuff up and I'd committed to buying those, I couldn't afford it. They had a copy of BBM, which is Jack Bruce, Ginger Baker, and Gary Moore. That one album they did, and he had it there, but it was a few dollars. So I had to pass on that one because there was enough stuff there that I just would never see again in Canada, and were much cheaper than a Discogs purchase. So I had to go for those. Anyways, I go into Beat Bop, and it's like I said, it's very carefully curated what he carries there. The progressive rock selection was great. The psych was great. The metal was great. Obviously, it's Michael Denner from Merciful Fate. And then I had seen this, and it's one of those things you just think you'll never ever see. It's kind of like not even on your radar of something you'll ever see. And in the end, I had bought a few albums. I had spent a bit of money there, and he ended up giving me a really good discount on the whole lot. So I ended up getting this for, I can't remember what the price conversion was, but I kind of looked on Discogs, and it was about, not that that's the Bible, but the median price, I think I ended up paying about $20 less than the median price on Discogs for this album. So let's get right to this. I found a first pressing, vertical swirl of Black Sabbath's first album. If you're on the YouTube vinyl community on Facebook, you have seen this already. He had a copy of this. And the chances of ever seeing a first pressing ever again, where it's in my hands, it's never going to happen. And then I think I had posted this, and someone was kind of saying, aha, it doesn't have the original Vertigo Records bag, the inner, and it does. There you go. So it's complete with the original bag and laminated gatefold sleeve. There you go. And like I said, this we checked the matrix numbers while we were in the store because I was hedging a bit. I had to go out for a smoke and kind of think about it. And my wife, like a lot of things in life, I kind of look at my wife, and you know, it's a bit of money, and she kind of gave me the nod, and so we went in and we checked the matrix numbers just to kind of confirm it is what it is. Original vertical swirl. I'll try not to touch the vinyl for those who seem to not like such things. So maybe we'll frame this one, won't we? There you go. So original vertical swirl of Black Sabbath's first album. And overall, I think that was maybe the best purchase, single purchase I got in Europe. Michael was telling me that not long ago they had a fully signed original pressing of Paranoid that someone, I think that was in the business, had got an original. It was signed in the 70s, and I had just missed that by a little bit, and someone had bought it. Although autographed items, if I'm not present, isn't as meaningful to me, but it just would have been cool to see an original pressing of Paranoid signed at the time of release by all 4 members of Black Sabbath. That would have been cool. So that right there, that's my single, I think, most exciting find I had in Europe was first pressing Vertigo Black Sabbath. Also at Beat Bop, I got a lot of, I'd say, Most Wanted vinyl that wasn't in that video. That video I always refer to. It could have been 5,000 albums. So I kind of feel like a hypocrite making that video. Those were the videos at the time. Those were the albums at the time I decided I was going to go after the most. And then you go in and you just never think you're going to see some of these things. And then it's like, I'm on these videos telling you it's one of my most wanted. Well, they all are. Just they didn't make that video, and I sound like a fucking hypocrite, don't I? Anyways, this album I'm going to show you, I'm pretty sure I burnt out in high school. It was cassettes in high school with the odd vinyl thrown in. Cassettes were easily accessible, and they were cheap enough for a kid to afford. I'm not sure why I took to this album so much. I love the band Bauhaus as it is. But this one is a peculiar album. It's called Swing the Heartache, the BBC Sessions. And it's a double vinyl, original pressing on Beggar's Banquet. Just so you can get a better look at that. There's no real thing to look at other than the staircase. But it's called Swing the Heartache, the BBC Sessions. And some of the takes of the songs on this album, I have read that the band thought were so good, they ended up putting them on the studio albums. So they had maybe recorded some songs before they committed them to vinyl for a future studio release. And they were so good that they ended up using the BBC session take. And there's a song on here called Party of the First Part. If you might not know what I'm talking about, you can always go on YouTube and sample it. It's a very peculiar song. It's dialogue from a movie, which is actually a cartoon, put to this kind of piano music in the back. And I'm not sure why I'm in love with that song so much. It's just kind of one of the weirder things I had heard kind of up to my high school days. But it's only available on this album, Party of the First Part. And like I said, I don't think Bela Lugosi's Dead's on this album. I'd have to double check here, as that seems to be their biggest song. It's not on this album. I mean, I'm glad it's not on this album. I'm kind of burnt. That is the Stairway to Heaven of the goth world, Bela Lugosi's Dead. I don't ever need to hear that song ever again. So, but you get pretty much every other song they're known for, and then some really good songs you might not be familiar with on this one. So Bauhaus, Swing the Heartache, the BBC Sessions. That was from Beat Bop as well. This one, like the Bauhaus, I wore this cassette out in high school, and I'm not sure why I bought it, because I was not a McCartney fan in high school. I've since become a fan of McCartney's solo material, and I had not seen the broadcast from this album, so I'm not sure what made me buy this album, but I fell in love with it. I've never actually seen the vinyl before in my hands, and I'm not sure if I was aware that it was even on vinyl. But I got a copy at Beat Bop of an original pressing. Well, I guess it's original because it was never reissued. Was MTV Unplugged by Paul McCartney. And I just find it a really kind of endearing album. There's a song on here that he starts and stops. I think it's We Can Work It Out. I think they start and they have a false start and they have to go back and redo it. I always found that kind of endearing. But, you know, there's some 50 songs he does. But he does a lot of really good Beatles material on here and some kind of off the beaten track solo songs. And like I said, it's just a really good performance and a really good take on some of those songs. So I was really happy to find that. And like I said, other than the Black Sabbath, these weren't really super expensive. I remember I was doing the price conversion, and this was $12 Canadian. It was a copy of Paul McCartney's Unplugged. I'm just really stoked to have this album. And while I was in that metal section and I found Black Sabbath, I think this is the only Ozzy album I'd never had, is a copy of Just Say Ozzy, which was recorded on the No Rest for the Wicked tour. And what's good about this album is that he does a version of Shot in the Dark off the Ultimate Sin. I'm not sure what you think of Ultimate Sin. It was of its time. But even Ozzy in the liner notes here readily admits that the version on this album kicks the holy shit out of the Ultimate Sin version of Shot in the Dark. It's a lot heavier. And there's 2 Black Sabbath songs on here, that Sweet Leaf and War Pigs, that they kind of morph into one song. And I found that version really good as well. So another high school cassette tape, or I'm not sure if that was before or after high school. But anyways, another one that I've never seen on vinyl before that I'm really happy to have, that, and it's a set completer for Ozzy. No, that's not true. I lied. I don't have No More Tears. I'm a fucking liar. Anyways, so this will be my second to last Ozzy album that I'll be adding to my collection. Was Just Say Ozzy. And I'll give you if you don't know the album, there's a glimpse of the track selection. If I can get the fucking glare off of there. There you go. And this is what's really good about this album is Geezer Butler plays bass. He played bass on that tour, and it's kind of before Zakk Wylde decided to become a caveman, a backwoods caveman. Oh, I like Zakk Wylde. I'm kidding, but really good live album by Ozzy. On the other end of the spectrum, and let me take a drink really quickly. He at Beat Bop they had a really good selection of electronic music. It wasn't like a massive section, but what was there was really good. And an album that, like I've been saying over and over again, an album I've been looking for, and you just don't see in my parts, is a band called Nitzareb. And I got a copy of Showtime. Probably my favorite Nitzareb album. And it's an original Mute Records pressing from 1990. And like I said, this is one of those albums I just have fond memories from. I think this was post-high school, actually, when I was kind of dipping my toes in the alternative electronic scene in my city. Nitzareb were a big club band in my city. And yeah, really happy to have that. So I have pretty much all the Nitzareb now I'll ever need with this one. And I think that was like about $7 Canadian. I probably would have paid 20 for it, actually. All right, we're going to go on to... I'm going to keep the story brief about this one store called Goldmine. I had found it when I didn't have it written down because I don't think it came up on Google for some reason. I was heading to Sound Station, and it's on the same kind of road, or the main strip there. And I kind of glance over to my right. I'm like, what is that? That's a record store. Cross the street, go in there. It is, I mean, I don't even know what to say about it. If you've been there, you'll know what I'm talking about. Everything's in it. If you're looking for it, it's there probably. Finding it's the other question. Or that's the hurdle. That's the challenge, is trying to find it. They just don't know what they have. It's kind of loosely categorized. And when I mean loosely, I mean loosely categorized. There's some main bands that have their own sessions, but after that, it's a goddamn free-for-all. And after about an hour, my wife just said enough. I don't even think it was an hour, because it was just so arduous. There's stacks of vinyl on the racks, and you have to kind of lift them up, and they're all underneath. They're everywhere, but if you got a full day, you're going to find some stuff. You know, there was original Death Angel vinyl, and that's just one band I remember seeing, and I had to leave. My wife was getting really pissed off, and I don't blame her. That was probably the 22nd store we'd been in, and she had had enough, and even I had had enough of, after seeing that store. I just didn't have all day, and I'm not sure if it was the owner, but the guy who was running the store, he would come up to you, you know, what are you looking for? What are you looking for? Which is fine. It's, you know, decent customer service, but, you know, I gave him a band. I was looking for a band on that one video about my most wanted albums. There was an album called Memorial Beach by Aha. I thought if any store has it, this fucking store is going to have it. It's got everything if you can find it. And he said, oh, I don't have anything like that. And I was like, well, I didn't say this to him. I was like, dude, you've got everything like this. Are you kidding me? I'm finding every band like Aha. I just don't know where the hell you would have it. And I kind of gave up on it. And had things been properly organized, I easily could have maxed my credit card out. It was, you know, it's a really good place if you have the time and you got the patience. I just didn't have the patience at this time. And it was my last day in Copenhagen. And the sound station was closing in about an hour. So I was like, well, you know what? I'm going to bet that store is a little bit more organized. But if you got the time, you want to put the effort in, go to Goldmine. You're going to find stuff. I promise you, I just didn't have the patience. Went to Goldmine. And I came across some of the best customer service I've ever seen at a record store in my life. In fact, they closed at 6. They kept me and my wife there till about 6:40 just talking to us. Because it's like, here's a guy from Canada who knows music, and the guy just talked my ear off, and it was awesome. It was really awesome. This guy we were just trading stories back and forth, and even my wife was slightly engaged in it. It was kind of cute. He just kept the store open for us. The other staff left, and he just kept it open for us. On the 1 in a million chance this guy knows who I am and he's watching, like, dude, you're the coolest. I love you. And unfortunately, I only had an hour to look in that place, and there was a whole part of the store I didn't even get to. Which, let's just say, if I go back to Europe, Copenhagen is on the list. I didn't really enjoy the city a whole lot. excuse me, to be honest with you. It's super expensive. But the record shopping, oh my God. So this is what I got from SoundStation. And these were all, I'm going to pull, these were all in the $5 bins. They got tons of, I don't think they were necessarily called $5 bins. That just seems what the price conversion seemed to be for all these ones in the middle. Then again, you got walls and walls of records so high that you have to have a step ladder to get up to the top. And like I said, that's another store that, generally speaking, if you were looking for it, it was probably best bet. It might have been there. The only thing, their selection of electronic avant-garde stuff really wasn't up to par. For instance, that Goldmine store, they had Skinny Puppy album after Skinny Puppy after all that kind of industrial kind of music. And if I had more patience, I would have stuck it out and got more stuff from, or got something from Goldmine. I didn't get anything from there. Apart from that, if you're looking for it, it was probably there. And like I said, time was running short. If I hadn't known the guy was going to keep the store open, I would have kept on looking while he was talking to me. But anyways, let's get right to it. $5 records. Billy Idol, Charmed Life. An album I've had once before, and I kind of traded it off. And I said, well, next time I find this album, I'm going to keep it. And I don't know why this, I guess this is hard to find on vinyl in North America. It seems to go for a bit of money, but this was a $5 record at SoundStation. I just got this because why not? I think it was less than $5 actually. Kind of a swampy blues hair metal album at the time, the Choir Boys, or as they were known in Canada, the London Choir Boys. A bit of What You Fancy. And I think I kind of primarily grabbed this as a friend of mine was really looking for this album a lot, so I'm not sure if he had got it. If not, it's going to go to him. If not, it's going to stay here. But I think 7 O'Clock was the big single off this album. Choir Boys, a little bit of a bit of What You Fancy. I don't know why I can't get that through my head. Sorry about that. Anyways, the final 2 albums of my European trip that I'm going to show. There's some other albums that are in various states of trades that I can't really show. I guess I could, but I'm not going to. If the trade falls through, I'll show them in a future video. Like, what was I showing you that I was totally lying about? What was it now? Oh, the Aussie. This is the second to last Queen album that I need. And they had both, there was two Queen albums I'm missing. This one and Live at Wembley. And they had a copy of Live at Wembley. It was just a few more bucks I wanted to pay. But they had this one for $5, Live Magic. Which I'm assuming is kind of like a condensed version of Live at Wembley, although that was recorded at Wembley. And I think this was kind of, I'm not sure if this was various takes from that Live Magic tour. But great live album. This being their last ever tour they ever did with Freddie. And they were just on fire that tour. If you watch any DVD of that tour, like the Live at Wembley tour, etc., they were just on all cylinders. They were firing. It was probably one of the best. After a period of kind of so-so Queen, they kind of came back, and even though they didn't know it was the end, they came back like it was the end, and they were just on fire. And this is such a blinding live album. So I got a copy of Live Magic for $5. There you go. We're going to end this off here. I'm just going to show it to you. Van Halen for Unlawful Carnal Knowledge. I got at SoundStation. And it wasn't a lot of money. I know that this is a lot of my friends' kind of holy grails. I fucking hate that word, but I got to use it. It's one of those universal terms we all understand. And this was there. And for Unlawful Carnal Knowledge, if you don't know, it stands for fuck. Anyways, original Warner pressing, and I'm going to guess this is probably European. Doesn't matter. Anyways, this is one of those albums the only Van Halen album I don't have on vinyl, and you just never see it. So whether it goes up for trade or whatever it is, I mean, I like the album a lot, but like I said, I have a lot of friends who found out when I got this, they were just kind of like offering me their sisters in trade. That's a bad analogy, but anyways, Van Halen for Unlawful Carnal Knowledge. Has the original hype sticker on it too. Features Pound Cake and that annoying song Right Now, which we're going to forget about that song. Anyways, that's it. That's my European trip. for 2017. Even though me and my wife generally kind of go every 3 years, 4 years, we're kind of committing ourselves to usually we kind of time it to go with a tour of Depeche Mode, one of our favorite bands. But we've kind of committed to ourselves that, you know what, let's not schedule around tours anymore. Let's just go to go and not be bound by, we got to be in this city at this time for this show. And, you know, on a show day for Depeche Mode, if you get front row tickets over in front of their stage, because there's no seats, you have to commit to lining up first thing in the morning, and it's just kind of a whole process. So we're kind of figuring next late spring, early summer, we're just going to go and enjoy ourselves and not be bound by the restraints of a live show. So if that's the case, I better save my pennies, and because I'm going to hit Copenhagen, and I'm going to be going back to Prague for sure. There was a lot of really cool things there that I actually regret not picking up. If you've stuck through these videos, once again, like I said at the top of this video, thank you. It actually means a lot to me. I'm coming up to 800 subscribers. That happened awfully quick. So I want to thank you for that. Now that I've gotten all this European crap out of the way, I have a thrift store haul I got the other day when I went to pick up my son from school. And there's some new arrivals, as always. And yeah, and I think I'm going to be posting a little bit of a different vinyl video just to kind of see if I can kind of get some interaction going between me and some of my favorite people that I watch anyways, and people who watch me. There you go. So thank you very much for sitting through my European vinyl trip. It was pretty amazing. I think you said we hit 22 stores. That's enough for anyone. And I'm kind of, to be honest with you, I'm kind of vinyled out. And that's going to end right away, so don't worry about it. That's just, you know, this moment. This has been David Michael. I hope you've enjoyed everything. Thank you for watching. It means everything to me. And we will see you next time.